Videos on Vanguard Live. I'm Damilola Ogunshaki. Let's go straight to the front pages of the daily. So starting with Vanguard. Vanguard is leading with how Nigeria can overcome insecurity. That's according to retired generals, DIGs, and security experts. There is need for teamwork among government, security agencies, and citizens. Blame corruption for worsening insecurity. Call for state police, investment in intelligence gathering, train, equip, pay police officers, other security agents well. Track down political leaders backing criminals. You can see that on page 5. And on page 9, CDS warn against calls for coup over economic hardship. Federal government bans cooking gas exports to crash price. And promoter Lora Adesanya right Tinubu over Mambila power project. Stories above the banner, we have hardship, we are working to tackle economic challenges. CBN begs Nigerians. Insecurity, Catholic bishops, OK State Police. Edo Igodalo wins a PDP ticket with 577 votes. Promises to lead Edo on path prosperity. Gunshot as Shaibu emerges candidate in parallel primary. You can see that on page 10. And here there's a picture showing the PDP governorship candidate, Dr. Igodalo, and his wife, Ifeyinwa, delivering his victory speech after the Edo PDP primary election at the lawn tennis court of the Samuel Stadium in Benin City yesterday. Now, away from Vanguard newspaper, we move to the Punch. Punch is leading with palliative palaver. Governors tackle Akpabio, deny receiving federal government 1 trillion naira lifeline. NGF says a 1 trillion naira windfall untrue. Lagos, Osun, Benue, Katsina, Zamfara deny receiving 30 billion naira each. Food truck looted in Niger. Police warn against Ekiti rally. Lagos, Ogun roll out relief. You can see the stories on pages 2, 6, 18, and 31. And here there are 3 pictures with the rider that says military, police, Neymar conduct search, rescue drill in rivers. Manufacturing others suffer as GDP slows to 3-year low. Ibadan Disco disconnects UCH over 500 million naira debt. Federal government plans a cooking gas export ban to crash price. Stories above the banner. Edo Igodalo emerges a PDP candidate. Shaibu wins a parallel primary. The Tinubu appoint new AMCON CEO. Agencies get 13 directors. Now the Guardian newspaper. Guardian is leading with details of woe for survivors. Joy for repentant terrorists. You can see that on big story pages 4 and 5. And then here on page 24, Senate reps pass Southeast Development Commission bill. 3 months after, military yet to release panel report on aerial drone. You can see that on page 3. Fresh worries for Nigerian naira as a FARC shares 1.149 trillion naira to federal government, state, and local governments. PDP factions produce Shaibu Igodalo for Edo Gubra poll. Archive Sanwo-Olu announces 25% slash in fares and other palliatives. Take states to avert planned protests. Afenifere tells Tinubu, Labour, and others. You can see that on page 11. And the Nation this morning is leading with President knocks palm sex for slowing down governors. Tinubu demands monthly key performance indicators. No to unacceptable delays. And here there's a quote here that says, "Let us make our children's dream come true. Why are we slowing that down? It is not just shameful, it is unacceptable. We made a pledge to bring our people out of poverty. You should not increase their vulnerability. Do not compound a tough situation with unacceptable delays." You can see that on page 2. Akeredolu takes final bow in Owo today. Lagos, Ogun, customs unveil food and other palliatives. Police begin joint patrol on Lagos-Ibadan road. Makinde attacks Akpabio. Stories above the banner. Facts monthly cash eats 2.07 trillion naira. 1.15 trillion naira shared. 919 billion naira saved. Lastly, on the front page of the Nation, military warns coup advocate. Igodalo back after 3 years safe exile. You can see that on page 5 of the Nation newspaper. And that's all we have on the front pages of the dailies this morning. Join us after the break as some of our correspondents will be joining us to analyze some of the stories. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Today the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Damlola Ogunshaki. And let's start with the story of the retired generals and the Deputy Inspector General of Police, DIG, and all that security experts. They blamed the security challenges in the country on corruption, and they are calling for collaboration among the people, security agencies, and government to tackle the problem. Now, to give us more details on that is our correspondent, Egufe. Good morning, Egufe.
All right, thanks for having me. Can I go ahead?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so the shares of opinion for those who they have been exposed to the reports are many, but I'll just go straight to the bits we contributed from Akwa Ibom, where the retired DIG, Chief Udom, really spoke, and he was passionate about explaining the issue, especially as it affects his immediate constituency, which is the police he retired from. For Udom, really, he said one of the things he recommended while he said he wasn't happy about the security situation was that in recent times, the manner that IGs are picked from the police does not suggest good selection. He said we were supposed to pick from the pool of DIGs who are serving, that in his time there was something like that when he was actually secretary in the police force, when he was the first secretary, that it was during the time of the late Musa Yaradua, that when he came in, he tried to know, he set up a committee to x-ray the issues within the police force. And one of the recommendations that was made for him was that every successive Inspector General of Police should be picked from among the Deputy Inspector Generals of Police. So he said immediately the then President implemented that process. But he said immediately after Yaradua died, another government came in, everything changed. He now wonder a situation where they will not go down to pick someone without enough experience. So he said, he now asked, what do you expect? So he said that was where the problem started. And still on it, he is very passionate about the situation in the police. He said, with the current security situation, the nation needs to recognize that police is originally instituted to deal with internal security. That if the police is neglected, they are not equipped enough, the selection process is not done in such a way that the right persons are put in the right places, that equipping the army to take over the internal security, which is the core duty of the police, will not solve the problem, that they are not actually wired for internal security. Though the constitution mandates them to come in when the situation gets out of hand. So for him, I know should be made to make the police more functional as it is. And he said that he was advising government to equip the police very well. That under the current situation, you see a policeman having just 5 bullets in a country where the bad boys have taken over. That sometimes their firepower is even more than what the police have. He said in his time, during his active days, when he was a DPO, that the DPO had a fuel dump in his division. And I'm sure the listener will know what a fuel dump is. That the DPO didn't have to go to, or his patrol team do not have to go to the regular filling station to go and queue with others to buy fuel. Or you start calling people who are in distress calls, who are calling your station to respond to distress calls to say you don't have fuel. They should come and buy fuel and all that. That they had a fuel dump within the divisions. All you need to do is marshal out your plan in the morning. The team will go to the fuel dump. Their official patrol vehicles are there. You fill your tank and you go out to do your work. That there is need to re-engineer the way the police is equipped, because they have the common mandate for internal security. People don't do. is also becoming a strong advocate of state police. This is not the first time he will say it. So when we confronted him with this issue of insecurity again, he also mentioned it again, that one way we can make headway in fighting the insecurity we are having is to take the issue of state police seriously. That it is working in other clients. He mentioned the situation in the US, where he said you have something in the equivalent of having a local government police, state police, even community police. So he is also advocating seriously that the issue of state police be taken seriously. But away from Ekudom, Savior Akpan, who is also executive director of Compass Foundation for Justice and Peace Building, for him is a civil society group. For him, this insecurity we see today is not the killing by armed robbers or by bandits or by hired assassins, ritual killers and all that. He actually said the insecurity is the poor leadership in the nation that is stirring the insecurity, that it is the manifestation that we interpret as insecurity. That if there is good leadership, there will be good security. If the people feel a good sense of social security, as we have now, hardship everywhere, that people are insecure when there is no hardship, when there is serious, intense hardship, people will go at any length to do anything to have food to eat. So going at any length could mean even harming your next neighbor so that you will just feed. So he actually also said that the nation needs leadership to step up their game, to give good leadership. That with good leadership, the people will feel more secure. He also said there is a disconnect between the security agencies and the citizens. He was particularly critical of the police, a situation where people used to information about their communities, about suspicious residents in their community, and before you know it, the police will give out the information to the suspect, the person who is being suspected, and they will come after them. That there is distrust between security forces and the citizenry, and that until that distrust is restored to trust, it will be difficult. That every citizen in every community, they know who the bad guys are, they know who the bad persons are, but there is fear that when you give out useful information, the police could give you up and these people will come after you. So those in a nutshell are some of the bits we had from the Akwa Ibom end in our contribution to this discourse.
Mm-hmm. But as a Nigerian, what do you think about the security issues? And do you agree with the retired generals and the DIGs on their reports?
Well, to the extent of saying the police is ill-equipped, I think I totally agree with you, because these things, even as reporter going to the field, these things are everywhere. Sometimes you find it very difficult to know when a police patrol is coming, because in those days they used to be branded. You know it, you just know that this is police. These days, police go out of their way to even hire vehicles from private vehicles, and they just jump in and start. Sometimes criminals take advantage of that. You don't know. Then you find the police with different shades of uniform. You don't know which one is which one. Criminals take advantage of that. So there is need to really think of the way the police is equipped and formed. There is need for readjustment of police formation, but not just the police too. Other security agencies. Look at the military, for instance. In those days, we used to have a very disciplined military that are mostly confined to barracks. They hardly come out. But these days, because they have become an army of occupation almost everywhere. And you find hoodlums coming in, they will go to any place, get military uniform, and they go in the guise of doing security, they begin to attack people. So sometimes it's difficult to know who is who. So I agree with people on the need to properly equip the police, and most importantly about the choice or selection of a DIG. Because if you look at the way we act today now, there seems to be sometimes some ethnic tone to the way even IGs are picked. Aside what Ekudom said when he said they must pick from the pool of DIGs instead of coming down and picking somebody with less experience. But you discover that now, as of today, I'm in Akwa Ibom. All the new postings that have been brought in recent times covering Akwa Ibom State, you notice that they are tilted towards a particular ethnic group. Everybody that is brought here, in the previous dispensation, it was also like that. Most times, it is the ethnic group of the president that you start seeing people from that side of the country getting posted a lot to head state command, area command, other areas. And people are also saying that those who are advocating for state police, this is one of the flaws they have in the present police formation. That when you bring a total stranger to lead a state, even at the division, you bring total stranger to lead the state, they don't have enough information about where they are leading. So it creates some challenges before the person will settle down to want to understand the situation. You know, recently there has been a resurgence of criminality in Akwa Ibom. Leaders may have it in maybe by weekend. We are experiencing the resurgence of this. In recent times, there has been a lot of killing, people being beheaded, especially targeted as women. And then the last one that happened recently was a police officer, actually a inspector. And that was when the police really began to feel the impact. In the past, it has been coming through the south of the state, through Oro, the peripheral local government. But now, the criminals seem to be bold because they are operating on it, that they are pushing it through the capital city. And that is what we are looking at, probably. So, that is, in a nutshell, is the beat from Akwa Ibom State.
All right, thank you, Ogufe Afubori, for that report.
Thank you for having me again.
Yes. Well, let's move on. Joining us right now to give us our report on the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria, as they called for consideration and careful study of establishing state police to combat the growing insecurity plaguing the nation, is Luminous Janamike. Good morning, Luminous.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead with your report.
Okay. Yes, yesterday the Catholic bishops concluded their 1 week first plenary of 2024, because every quarter we used to have plenary where they gather together in Abuja to discuss issues that affect the church and strong affirmation. So yesterday was the closing ceremony, and at the end of yesterday's proceedings, they issued a communique where they actually talked about the theme of their plenary, and then also, as usual, they also talked about some national issues, particularly insecurity and the economy. So we know that the federal government recently, said it was considering establishing state police to help combat insecurity. So now the Catholic bishops are now saying that, well, state police is a good move. At least it is better than nothing. But it should be carefully considered. It should be carefully considered. And when they are raising that alarm and then cautioning for and calling for careful consideration, is because of they want to safeguard abuse of that security outfit by some governors who are unscrupulous, quote and unquote. But then that's not about security and about their call for careful consideration of the decision to decisions, the economic policies of the current federal government is not working. They are counterproductive, you know. So they are now suggesting as a solution. It's not just enough to the bishops. It's not just enough to say this is the problem, but also solution. In providing solution, they call for greater investment in agriculture and more financial support, you know, and positive environment for small-scale businesses to thrive. According to them, it is only when emphasis is laid on agriculture and small-scale businesses that the economy can naturally come out of the woods. So those are the two key national issues they talked about. There are another issue they talked about, but this one relates more to both the church and, you know, the society generally. They are calling for more unity, for more cohesion, for national unity. You know, we should see ourselves as one. You know, we should see ourselves as one. We should think about how Nigeria can make progress, you know, as a united, progressive nation. So those are the key highlights of what they try to communicate yesterday in their community. But they actually pointed out that the fuel subsidy, they specifically said the fuel subsidy removal is not working. And the floating of the foreign exchange too is not working. So those are the two key economic policies. They, in their own assessment, after their own assessment, came out to say this policy, the government didn't get it right. So whether me as a person, whether I'm feeling the impact of these two policies, yes, of course, I'm feeling the economic impact of these decisions of the federal government.
Thank you, Luminous John Amike, for that report.
Yes, I appreciate it.
All right, moving on from that, let's talk about the Minister of State Petroleum Resources Gas, Honorable Ekwe, who disclosed that there will be no export of liquefied petroleum gas, that's the cooking gas, until local demand has been met. The minister, who disclosed it at a workshop in Abuja on Thursday, said the government was working to improve supply to the domestic market. Now, the government's intervention came as the price of cooking gas rose by over 20% this week, from 1,030 naira per kilogram to 1,240 naira per kg, and that's despite the declaration of the decade of gas and the government's push to make gas a transition fuel. Low production and rising prices have continued to push Nigerians away from the use of LPG. Now, questioned on why the removal of taxes was not reflecting on lower prices, he said it is not going to reflect that way, that of course they're dealing with humans and the policy has been in place and the investors want to maximize the profit that they are going to get from it. And at the end of the day, that's why they came in, and that is why the regulators are interfacing with them to make sure that they crash the price, and that's from the minister. Now, let's end this on a lighter note with Mr. and Mrs. this morning. And the first person speaking today is Mrs. Mrs. says, in many situations, women are always holding the short end of the stick. And Mr. says they better hold on tight. If the economy continues this way, the stick may become shorter. Mr. and Mrs. with the words of wisdom. And well, this is where we have to draw the curtain. My name is Damilola Ogunshaki. Do want to like and follow us on all our social media platforms showed on your screen, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Our WhatsApp number is also displayed on your screen. You can also visit our website www.vanguardnj.com to get more of our top stories. I'm Damilola Ogunshaki. Have a lovely Friday.